Well, hello and thanks for joining us on Western Perspective. This week on the program, recycling has always been the environmental way to manage waste, but China's decision to stop accepting recyclable materials from overseas to protect their environment has caused problems in countries relying on China to process their recyclables, including Australia. So do we have a waste crisis? Tonight we ask how we can better manage our waste in Australia. It's a routine done weekly. Bins wheeled to the curb on rubbish collection day. Among the waste is paper, plastic and glass collected in recycling bins, with Australians doing their part to help the environment.
90% of the community wants to recycle and wants to do the right thing.
Australians are serious about the waste management habit, recycling 60% of total waste in 2015, sending it overseas to be processed. But China's ban on accepting recyclable waste from overseas has resulted in a potential recycling crisis in Australia, and Australians rethinking their household waste management.
China said we will put better controls and better compliance to reduce the amount of non-recyclables in the recyclable stream.
From January 1 this year, China has enforced a new policy banning imported overseas recyclable materials. They've also lowered the threshold for accepting contaminated recyclables to 0.5%, meaning recyclable materials need to be clean before China will take them. Western Australia's Waste Authority Chairman Marcus Geisler says China is simply trying to improve their environment.
But this is not a ban on recyclables, this is a ban on waste. You see pictures now of Beijing, actually they have blue sky instead of the smoky skies in 2005 and 2008. China is just cleaning up their act.
City of Coburn Waste Manager Lyle Davidson claims China's decision has had an impact in Australia.
It's well understood that the market value of the recyclable products has reduced in recent months.
That drop in value has been a result of contamination of recyclables that has made them less attractive to overseas markets.
This is a really good wake-up call for the industry and for Australians generally, to make sure that they really understand the consequences of their waste.
It's led to a push for local government councils to introduce a 3-bin system, red for general waste, yellow for recycling and green for organic waste, to reduce contamination of recyclables and waste going to landfill. In WA, the state generates around 5.4 million tonnes of waste, with around 1.8 million tonnes recycled. But City of Melville Mayor Russell Aubrey says WA isn't affected by the ban because its recyclables aren't processed in China.
The news they're getting really applies to the eastern states and not to the western of Australia. Our recycling product goes to Indonesia, it goes to Malaysia, but it does not go to China.
Meanwhile, amongst WA residents, concerns remain about how much knowledge people have about recycling.
A lot of them are not sure what can go in what bin, and a lot of the community is not sure whether recycling is actually happening.
And experts believe there's an opportunity for all Australians to improve their waste management.
What we have to do is we have to change behaviour. It is pretty clear that the community actually wants to recycle, even as there's a cost related to that recycling. Now it's just the task is to get the consistent messaging out and make sure that the community understands what goes in what bin.
And that's all for this week. Ivan and Danielle, it's back to you.
Nelson, thank you very much. This week's main news again. One Nation has announced that Rod Caddies will contest the Darling Range by-election following the resignation of disgraced MP Barry Urban. In an exclusive TV interview, Mr. Caddy promised to offer an honest and listening ear to the community, allowing for greater representation in Parliament. Premier Mark McGowan admits the election will be a tough battle for the Labour Party and says the candidate will need to have the Darling Range's best interests at heart.
And that's our weekly news and current affairs. For all the latest happenings, you can visit our website and Facebook page.
We'll be back after a 2-week break. Until then, a very good evening to you.
Good night.